And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spaceship Stream. You be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, and I really appreciate all of you very much. Coming to you from the Spaceship Studios from a galaxy far, far away, and we are hanging out tonight on this evening, Sunday, and we're going to be talking about a couple of news updates and hang out, talk about open discussion about different things, and something interesting about I discovered today about plasmaiods. So what I want to do now is switch over to the other screen, and all right, here I am. So hello everybody, it is me, Alien Spaceship, and I hope everybody's been having a good Sunday. It has been quite nice and rainy today, and stormy. Now it has lightened up, and it's better now. So well, it's kind of overcast, but either way, it is okay. It's the weather's been interesting today. This morning is very sunny, then it gets stormy, then it's like not really stormy right now. All right. So what we'll be doing is, as we do in the beginning, we're going to play the game and talk about the different things as we go along. Okay. So we're going to go here, start the game that we like to do. All right. All right. So the game is loading. I was seeing some things earlier about people exploring underwater caves with scuba diving suits. So that, as I said, that's quite a daring thing to to do, and it can be quite deadly. Yeah, so diving in general, I think, is it can be very fun and people know what they're doing, but also be very dangerous if circumstances aren't right. I know nothing about diving. I've never done it before. I'm not even giving advice on it. I'm just saying from what I've seen through the YouTubes. All right, so we're going to launch this. Okay, so it is in Tortuga. That is where we are. Right, seeing how all this runs, are things running smoothly for the moment? All right. I spoke a little bit too quickly, didn't I? It's going all right. It's going all right. All right, so this is where we go and get some. I'll be talking more about the scuba diving in a moment, from what I was seeing earlier. Right, so we have these. You're gonna buy these things, not these things, but these tonics, holy water and stuff to help us fight off the Timu Sheen beasts that we encounter. All right, that's the gypsy thing. It's a gypsy wagon. It's not a thing. It is a thing technically, but it's a wagon. I kind of like want to see like what's through here again. It's as I said, I love what they have done with this game. It's a nice virtual world. Okay. All right. Well, that's a nice moo, nice and big. Quite adventurous. Faithful Bride. Yeah. Basically, like with scuba diving, people that do exploring, stuff like that. Now, I've not been. I mean, I've been in some situations, but I'm not like judging somebody how they acted in the situations that they were in, because you have to be in that person's shoes in that moment to really be able to judge properly. Because a lot of these, like, it can be stressful when people are doing their explorations or they're diving or something and something goes wrong and they panic. So a lot of times I see from the things, videos and stuff I've seen and read about, it has to do with people panicking seems to make the situation worse. So when the situation gets worse, like say like something malfunctions, something doesn't go right, they're going to be using, like they're scuba diving, they're going to be using more oxygen, and it's going to cause them to use more oxygen and sink more. But as I said, easier said than done. But it is quite tedious, and it makes things even worse when you panic under pressure. So I think that people that stay calm, when I see these videos where people stay more calm, the outcome was better even if they didn't make it. It's always good to stay calm. It's kind of like, say, with a fish, the more it struggles, the more it gets tangled up into the hook and the net and stuff like that. Okay. I thought I heard something barking or some kind of bird or something in the game. I've not heard that before. Must be something new or somebody with some sort of ability to do that. Let's see how fast the sword gets this thing. Just 3. Alright, let's see this. How long it would take. Just 2. Okay. Captain Boy's Cutlass. That's cute. Okay, so this Cutlass seems to do better, but I like the healing abilities that the other one has. But I guess this is technically better. Yeah, a Cutlass. With Cutlass fighting, it's a certain art, a certain method. It's like swinging the sword back and forth like that. With the katana, it's more up and down. Yeah. And there's certain ways to dodge and certain ways to deflect with the Cutlass. Okay, this is what I was hearing. It was these chickens. Timu Sheen chickens. With the Epstein files, it seems that allegedly Trump will be releasing some type of information about it that they have, but not like the list, but they're going to release some other documents I read yesterday, and also it's still clear today that he's going to do that. He has been facing a lot of backlash from MAGA and many prominent figures over the files not being released, if they're there or not. They could have been, I believe they're there, in my opinion. But they could have been destroyed, hypothetically. That's always possible. But at some point, somebody could have burned, because, there's all kinds of, like... Okay, True Crime, thank you, and hope that your life goes well. Yeah, shout out to you, True Crime. I appreciate you. I just began a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, so with the files regarding the Epstein situation, like, sometimes the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. It's possible there could have been some secret group in there that got rid of the files or information that they could have gotten destroyed. But as I said, in my opinion, I do think that they are there. For whatever reason, they're not being released. But, or they just don't have them because someone got rid of them. But there's a lot of backlash because of the files not being released. With that said, I think, maybe we'll never know the truth about them with the files, but, people are going to have a distrust about this, and it seems like today must have been the anniversary day of when Trump was nearly assassinated, unfortunately. And because, regardless of people's political views and stuff, I think that we wouldn't really want to see any politician, in my opinion, get assassinated on either side, in my view. But yeah, so that was something I learned today, and I remember when that happened. And True Crime says, I don't think we ever will. Right, right. We don't really know. I mean, it could be, either way. We don't really know because there's so many people that are on the list. There's alleged allegations that CIA, some people think that Mossad also was involved in it, allegedly. But we're behind Epstein. They say, as I said, there's all kinds of different theories about it. It's the Illuminati, the Masons, these different secret societies and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of different theories all over the place going around. It's interesting to learn about and see what people have to say about it. I don't really know what the exact truth is. We have, if it will ever even come out. Thank you, True Crime. Definitely royal families. Yeah, with Prince Andrew, what he did. Yeah, that one is something I forgot to mention. Yeah, that one. It could have been certainly then, like with Prince Andrew, what he did, and then Virginia, she died by suicide, or what we call on YouTube self-deletion, and a lot of us are suspicious about that, especially with Epstein himself, how he was self-deleting himself, which people think that he was not deleted himself. Somebody may have helped him do that. Same thing with her, because she was hit by a bus, and she was thinking that they were trying to get her because she knew about stuff and she had testimony. Like, she was doing massages for him, and when she was doing the massages, they, other things happened that weren't too nice. So, but then she's not around anymore because she, deleted herself, suicide. But as I told you, these people have been around for a long time, and they were very good at what they unfortunately do, the evil things, and they're just caught in their tracks where they're going to make sure that's not released. So allegedly, a lot of household names are on it, politicians, stuff like that are on this list, and it would cause a national uproar. And yeah, so people are so the news about the Epstein thing is that there might be some documents that will be released about Epstein, but he basically is, a lot of people are not happy about the situation. I understand there's a lot of important things going on in the country and regarding there's wars and there's things that are more important, I understand, but there's a importance in the sense of the dignity and integrity of the country, because many people have believing in these theories that there's some sort of an elite hiding information and that we were promised a transparency. And even as I said, they could have burned the files, they could have gotten rid of them without him really knowing about it, before he was even there. He just recently got in, or he's purposely, for some reason, withholding it himself, and he knows that they're there. Whatever the truth is, I mean, also got to think about, if these people are going to do these criminal actions, we know from watching trials, they're probably not going to show evidence that they did something. They're going to probably destroy it. Like, we see that on trials all the time, so I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of it somehow. But, right, just people are not happy about that in general, because culturally speaking, the country has a reputation, it has integrity, and no one wants to see a child or anybody get hurt like that. So that is one of the other reasons we are, viewing that. Why we're trying to get this viewed, not this channel, but people want the Epstein files to be viewed by everybody, not just by a certain group of people in the FBI that could just look at them. Elon has said that he wants Trump to release the files, and he said that they are there, basically, and they're hiding it. I'm not saying that Trump was necessarily doing anything wrong, because I guess they would have exposed him for that, or if both sides were doing it, they wouldn't want to expose themselves. So I'm not saying that he did anything, but people were saying that he was close friends with Epstein, which he was friends with him, or he knew him. I don't know what the relationship really was. Now, Epstein was saying in some tapes that he was a close friend of Trump, and he was he didn't say that Trump did anything to kids, but he was saying stuff about his love life, and what he likes to do stuff with women, things like that. Like nothing, like it was nothing illegal, but he likes flirting around, whatever. So now that's what Epstein was saying. And it would be, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but and he was trying to like hint that he was alleging that Trump would want people to like know a certain thing and not really say like what the truth is. He was kind of hinting at in these different tapes because there's documents about things Epstein said. But it'd be interesting to have known. Like one thing about Epstein not being around is that him not being alive anymore. People will never know other things that went down with him because I'm sure he could have spilled the beans on a lot of different people. Yeah. So, and people have suspicions of Trump because he was like associated with him at one point. That's one thing that people are upset with, and Trump being defensive about Epstein is causing people to not be really too happy about that, the way he reacted to it. Different people on YouTube from various walks of life and professions have been quite clear that they believe that Epstein did not delete himself, and that there is a list. So there seems to be quite a majority about that, and we may never know, like what a true crime says. We may never know what the real truth is, but as I said, like if they had the files, they should have released them. If they never had the files, they shouldn't have said they're going to release them. So that's just a mystery. All right, so we have this one of these ships that in this game was very fast, and it just went by very quick. Just like it was a glitch in a game, and it just teleported to another part of the sea. It was kind of funny. Okay. All right, taking that down. As I said yesterday when we covered it yesterday, that he was trying to Epstein was trying to build an image for himself. So what Epstein did was he got his, this is what you would call trying to look like a prestigious top of the line person. That's what he's trying to look like. So he donated to Harvard a couple $1,000,000 for about 10 years until they cut him off because of the allegations against him in 2008, 2006. He was trying to, as I said, make himself look like a better image of himself. And maybe he's trying to kind of hide what he was doing and do money laundering. And yeah, it led to his ultimate downfall and destroyed everything. And then I remember the time, like in 2019, when they were saying that he was going to talk. And then right when that was going on, he happened to just delete himself. It's like I kind of was thinking they're going to take him out. And then he passes. He deletes himself. Yeah. So that's always kind of funny. Like when everybody just like, okay, they're going to take this guy out, and they take the guy out. All right. So different MAGA conventions, different places, people are very up in arms about that situation because. Okay. Oh, come on, Canon. Okay, so True Crime says the case should be closed now unless it's still considered an open investigation. Then they could hold the files and not release them. Hope that makes sense. I thank you, thank you, True Crime, for explaining that to me. I wasn't thinking of that, and I think that would probably be a reason for what they're doing. So yeah, thank you for that information. Okay, True Crime, understood. Yeah, it just and they could have been more transparent about it. Look, there's hindsight 2020. People can we all make mistakes, but yeah, people just thought it would be as straightforward, and I was in a like thinking of like what you're saying from that point of view that they could just release the files right now and just put them out there. And True Crime says he had conspiracy charges. Okay, right. And the case was closed after he deleted himself. Right. Because you're saying that the case should be closed now, unless you're right, it was closed. It's still considered an open investigation. Then they could hold the files, not release them. Okay. Yeah, when they're saying they're going to release the files, they could have been more specific about it. So I don't. So that's what people are angry about. Because I'm just seeing it everywhere, and my friends are seeing it everywhere. So I'm glad that you're explaining about how this stuff works, so we can have a better understanding about how they release these certain files and things like that. Right. And he wasn't, because I guess that was one reason for taking him out. Hypothetically, was to get the case closed, and then in Virginia could have caused the case to become open again. Hypothetically, if so, yeah, I'm not saying that. It looks like that they weren't deleting themselves. That's what it seems like to me, at least. But yeah, I understand the way they handle those files a certain way. If a case is open or closed, it would depend on how they would release it. How they could hold them or they could release them. Right. Okay, going to the island. And basically speaking of making mistakes, for instance, like when I was setting up the True Crime says conspiracy is two or more people involved. Maybe the two that self-deleted. I don't know. Okay, True Crime. Thank you. So you're saying it's a conspiracy is two or more people involved. Now Maxwell, she was involved with it. It seems she was convicted, but there could have been more besides them. So yeah, they could have deleted themselves or been prosecuted already. Thank you. Yeah, as I said, I don't know everybody that would be charged with them either. All right. Yeah, so I think like speaking of making mistakes, like when I was setting up the AdSense thing, I accidentally chose the organization version over the individual version. So there's like a business account and the individual. So I have to go and like verify myself as individual. So I have to go through some like process. So that is like, for instance, a mistake that I made. For instance, like we all make mistakes, but so I'll get the like super chat stuff back uh, soon, but I have to go like verify the account correctly. But I'm still part of the program though, and the way the Trump administration did it when they were explaining to people how they were going to release all this information about Epstein, they could have done it a different way when they told people when they oh yeah, true crime, yeah, yeah, it's all good though, everything's still intact, like the earnings and stuff like that. It's all like everything's like still intact. Like I did not lose anything. It's just yeah, I for some reason I should have. I thought I looked at a tutorial about it, but I must have not have. I must have missed that part if I didn't see that. But yeah, I could get in like a LLC thing. That's not a problem, but I'd prefer it as an individual instead for now. But yeah, as I said, because when I went to go verify it, was like I didn't do it quite right. So it's been paused, but I had to go and verify myself and kind of reset things. But yeah, so I'm still part of the program though. I have to just go and do that. And yeah, but hey, I believe the dots will connect. Dots connect in the future, and we learned. And I learned about the YouTube chat feature where you can chat with the YouTube officials, like representatives about things. I learned about that, so it was an interesting learning experience. And hey, mistakes happen. Like so, as I said, like if Trump was not intentionally withholding the information, yes, true crime, yeah, and they could have done it differently where the public wouldn't have this backlash if they didn't have the files and the list that they said they had. So yeah, so they could have made a mistake, or the conspiracy theories is that they're purposely withholding the information for some nefarious reason. It's one of those two things. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and yeah, so that is you could say that's something that's been going on with me. But as I said, I'm glad that I am. I'll say I achieved that with the help of all of you that watch the streams and stuff like that. Yeah, because the past few days I posted a comment to tell people like why the thing wasn't there anymore because I didn't violate any policies, I didn't do anything wrong. It was just a little bit of a error that I made, and with AdSense you can't really like switch it. Like you can't just press a button and switch it. They have to completely reset it and give you like a new one, and then it like right. That's what it's like get a new account from AdSense. Yeah, so I don't know if I did it in 2017 because I created it when my senior year, and that in 2017 because I was going to plan on getting it at some point, and hey, it worked. I was able to do pretty well on YouTube, but the other factor was, it probably was when I was like officially like accepted in the program. That's probably when I made the mistake because I'm like, oh, I must have said to myself, I see myself as an organization of YouTubers working together, but not thinking of it where are you an individual or a business. It was I misinterpreted it. I should have looked more into about that, but anyway, everything's fine. It's all gonna be okay. It's gonna be all straightened out. So with the with Epstein, he got wealthy from being a financer, and he worked as a teacher in the 80s, then without any kind of like diploma because he was good with like math and physics, and he did financial consulting for he says billionaires. So that is a couple of the different people that's like how he got his money. Now there's other alleged nefarious ways he got his money besides that. Yeah, but that is like what he did. He's trying to build up an image. He could have hung out with Trump and those other people to try to make himself look more legitimate. That he was a first class citizen of some kind. Hello, Abby. Shout out to the lurkers. All right, shout out to the lurkers. Yeah, my channel has quite a few lurkers that watch the stream. I appreciate all of you lurkers because I appreciate everybody that lurks around because I have quite a few of them, and it's all good. Yeah, so this is this is not Epstein's island. This is it looks like it, but this is the crab. It's the Scorpion Island, right there. Okay. Yeah, so it's Epstein's Island is where all those zombie pirates are. Uh, yeah, but as I said, this is like probably what Epstein's Island parts of it look like. Scared, scared. Yeah, but like I said, I like all the YouTube experience has been, the dots connected, everything made sense, and it's all good. I remember we're going to throw some of these knives, and earlier, I was with I was with the cat this morning, and then I was with the cat a little bit later. I always stay up late, and like recently I've been staying up all the way into like the morning time. And yeah, I remember this morning I talked to YouTube about one of the questions I had about the situation. And last night, I the moon was beautiful last night. I really enjoyed it. The moon, there was a very nice. It's the buck moon, so it's when there's a buck and the antlers grow. So the antlers grow during the buck moon. So that was pretty cool to know about. And yeah, so my and the forest that I have, which with Epstein, I'm going to go over like what he was like charged with in a moment. Like the forest that I have in my yard, I created it. So I grew like over 10 years ago. I grew some trees, and they got really big. And in 10 years ago, I brought these tropical stalk plants from down the street over here, and it's a very nice looking jungle. It was originally like a yard with just grass and just a land, but I added a lot of greenery to it, and the animals and the different cats and stuff like to go in there too. Yeah. So I like so I made my own woodlands. So like my largest garden is the forest that I made. And a lot of the plants will come back every year. They'll come back. Okay, and that's Blige-Water. That's where they play Liar's Dice. That game. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. And going to dock. So with in Plasmaiods, allegedly when they were going into space, those that believe that we went to the moon, this other YouTuber was talking about it, and I never heard of it before. Basically, it was these octopus-looking things that are out in space, and they're called plasmoids, and they look like gigantic octopus in space. Some people believe that they're some sort of UFO, or it's some kind of a plasma thing that's there. So that's something I never have heard before. It's nice, cool YouTuber to mention that. All right, so going over exactly what he was charged with. Let's see. With Virginia, they had a settlement with her. All right, so Jeffrey Epstein faced various charges related to his role in child sexual abuse and sex trafficking. It was Epstein pleaded guilty to the state felony charge in Florida in 2008. Epstein pleaded guilty to state charges of procuring a child for prostitution and solicitation of prostitution. This was part of the controversial plea deal that granted him immunity from more severe federal charges at the time. He received a lenient sentence of 18 months in jail, serving approximately 13 months with work-related privileges. The sentence allowed him to leave jail for work up to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Epstein was required to register as a sixth offender in 2008. All right. And 2019, Epstein was arrested on federal charges for sex trafficking of minors and conspiracy to commit sex trafficking of minors. The indictment alleged that the sexual exploitated abused numerous minor girls in his home in Manhattan and Palm Beach. He allegedly enticed young girls as 14 to engage in these activities in exchange for cash payments and use his employees to recruit additional victims. However, the charges in New York were dismissed following Epstein's... So they were dismissed following his death by suicide, allegedly in jail, on August 10, 2019. Despite the dismissal of criminal charges, the Department of Justice, FBI, have continued to investigate the matter. Okay, so to see the full thing about this is that the Department of Justice and the FBI, although the case was closed, they continue to investigate the matter. So it's kind of like was still under investigation after he was not alive anymore. Okay. Okay, so that is like his charges in that situation with that we were mentioning earlier. All right, so with we will see if anything's released. We may never know, but it'll be interesting to see the coming days and weeks about how MAGA reacts to him not releasing the information. Yeah. Yeah, this is where they had the liar's dice. It's quite interesting. Well, uh, um, hmm. That's where liar's dice was supposed to be. There it is. They moved the chair around. All right, so with the plasmaoids, I think they probably could be a UFO. No, I'm not following that. I don't know anything about it, but I'll be glad to look it up and we'll talk about it. I'll read over this case. Okay, so we're going to exit out this. All right. Okay, so going to go here and review this case. It's going to load. Let's see how it does. I will keep my eyes out for it. Thank you. Okay, maybe not that one. We're going to go to this one. Okay, teen girl's tearfully mom who's arrested in the killings. Okay. So going to the Sarah Grace. Okay, so Georgia teen who raised awareness about mother's stepfather's deletions on TikTok now charged with their murder. Teenage girl in Georgia is accused of murdering her mother and stepfather after she allegedly spent months raising awareness about their deaths on TikTok. 17-year-old Grace Patrick turned herself in on July 8 and is accused of deleting her mother. Christine Brock, 41, and stepfather James Brock, 45, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office said. A press release Patrick allegedly deleted her mother and stepfather on February 20 at their home in Carroll County, Georgia. Carroll County Communications Director Ashley Husley said at the press conference that both parents were found deleted in the apparent pew-pew shot wounds on February 20. Husley said Patrick will be charged as an adult, and she was initially charged with the 2 counts of murder and counts of aggravated assault. Quote, we don't know what goes through the mind of a child who wants to harm their parents, Husley said. She's 17. She's kind of been out on her own, and she's lived with different family members and moved all over the place. Patrick herself made the 911 call and reported the parents were injured. Huxley said that the communicator's director said that the investigators have mountains of evidence against Patrick in this case, but declined to elaborate. Huxley told Fox News Digital Patrick operated a TikTok account with the username sgrace04282. And there's the affidavit of arrest. State warrant of arrest. Okay. The TikTok account is no longer is online, but she made comments talking about her parents after their deletions, their death on February 20. Fox News Digital obtained screenshots from true crime influencer alleged report which shows Patrick commenting on several of her videos. Quote, "Thank you for spreading awareness," Patrick commented on one video. From an investigative standpoint, it would seem that it was someone who knew them, hoping for answers and swift justice. One TikTok user wrote, "Most definitely was since they knew the house." Patrick responded. Huxley said the saddest victim in the case is Brock Toddler, who is now parentless. A mother and stepfather will never be able to raise their child, and the little girl that was in the home, Huxley said. All right. So that is that case, and it's very big. You're absolutely right. It's very big. And we certainly will be watching out for that one. Okay. All right. So basically, I'm glad you told us true crime about that case. I will certainly be looking into it. All right. So something that I was watching a video of these YouTube, kind of like stuff that I do. These different reactions of these stories that occurred. So there has been stories that happened where there were scuba divers in Norway a long time ago where they, not a long time ago, but at some point, in the past, where they were going to explore this not abandoned, but they're going to explore this cave, this underwater cave, doing scuba diving. And it's very narrow, and it's very awkward and dangerous. And they did it pretty well. Oh, at first, but then it was so tight. Oh, hello, Duke. It's good to see you, buddy. Welcome. It was a very, tight, narrow passage. So one of the people got caught, and they panicked, and then it caused the breathing meter to go down. And when that happens, it was not good at all for the person, one of the members of the group, and they passed away, unfortunately. And it was very disturbing because the other friend was trying to help him, but the guy was panicking too much, and it caused the breathing to go down. So yeah, that one of the lives are lost. But they're going through this cave, and it has to be. And shout out to the chickens. And that had to be absolutely, totally terrible to go through. And they're going through a narrow passage, and they had to split up in two different groups. Eventually, they made it out. But when the lives are lost, it's good to do exploration and stuff, but there's also risk to it. And as I say, the people are very brave to do things like that. they're very brave. Because when you have like a cave and it's like so narrow, it's it's very difficult for them to navigate through, and then you have to do with the pressure because the other guy that was helping him, his oxygen levels were going down because of the trying to get his friend from stuck on the rock. And when he was stuck on the rock, he, when you panic, like I said earlier, when you panic over something like that, it will cause you more problems than good. Even if like somebody's going to lose in a situation, it's still best to stay as calm as possible. That's easier said than done. All right, 2. Also, Duke, a lot of people are upset at. People are very upset about the Epstein situation and how the administration has handled it. We were talking about before. And we're going to, as I said, we're going to see if anything is released about it or not. Now, there's a hoax. Some things were hoaxes that I was seeing. Like there was some explorations, and they wound out to be being a hoax. And then when the thing is called a hoax, it's easy to debunk. So, for instance, there is a time where these people were exploring a cave and they thought they heard some sort of yelling in the cave. Then behind this other wall, it was like not a wall, but behind these rocks, and they went through it and they saw this ancient writing. It looked like some kind of pagan symbol. So there's a theory that there's people in the cave living there, and they're gonna go and look for it, but they got out. Then they brought somebody else that knows what these symbols mean. And then when they look for what the symbols mean, what occurred was the guy that was supposed to verify the symbol in the cave got injured, was all bloody. He didn't feel good, and he just went home, never talked to him again, right? And he had his dog with him. So this guy was bringing his dog with him in the cave to explore it, and they just never, of course, like, found out what exactly happened. Now, what really was occurring was it was a hoax that was created for, like, attention. It wasn't a real incident in that cave. Now, it could have been real and it's a cover-up, hypothetically. Anything's possible. But as I said, we have to be quite clear that that is what occurred, where it was not really happening. So those are some of the stories that I was researching today about these cave explorations that went wrong. Like sometimes you'll be going down in a cave and then it starts flooding and it starts filling up with water and they have to get out of it. That's quite tedious when people have to do that. That was a bold bet that I made. I said it was going to be 10 of 10. Okay, and especially the people that do the cave exploring the caves, it has to be very tedious to, especially if someone's claustrophobic. It's not for people that are claustrophobic. Very tight spaces. Especially if somebody gets stuck. It's like the panic sets in. And like when you're watching these things, you get scared. Scared. Alright, rolling the dice. Usually with liar's dice, I bet low. When it gets a little higher, I usually call it a liar. Because that's what. So, like, everybody's claiming there's a certain amount of dice. And then you call them a liar, and you'll see if you're right. They did it in the pirate movie. Okay. And then, like, you kind of lose or gain dice over time. I've said this before. It's very nice. Like, I could see why people play these kind of games when they're on the seas. This is what I'd do if I was on the seas like I am right now. Okay. I keep forgetting to call him out because there's a couple of times I've got him for being a liar. A few times. Okay, let's see. Okay, 1 of 1. Yeah, Stonehenge. Alright. Yeah, Stonehenge, for instance. I remember that one. I think alien involvement was in that. There's certainly some sort of alien involvement. Because I think for those people in those islands to have been able to do that, it would have taken a lot of technology that they may not have had. Alright, let's see. Alright, I got him. I called his bluff. A key to the game is to keep calling bluff. Kind of betting low. And 2. Let's see. I lost a dice there. Okay. Alright, so... And this is basically like the Pirate Casino. Mo, I'm about to get into more detail about the plasma that we're talking about. It went to 0. It went back up. Okay, good. Yeah, the weather was not the nicest where I was today, but as I said, I like the dark weather though. It's nice. Going to 3. He's gonna probably call bluff on me. He's gonna call bluff on me. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna say 1. 2. Then we're gonna say 3, which I probably don't even have 3. Lose another dice. Roll it. Alright, okay. 1. Alright, I got him. Okay. I called his bluff, and I was right. Okay. That was pretty cool playing that. Alright, so... I'm going to get into the plasma stuff. Let's see. A shout out to the game. Alright, so we're going to go over here. Plasmoids. In physics, plasmoid is a self-contained structure of plasma and magnetic fields. They are observed in various natural phenomena, including ball lightning, cometary tails, and the solar winds. The context of the Dungeons and Dragons. A plasmoid is a playable race character by their amorphous blob-like form and ability to reshape their bodies. Definition: a plasmoid is a coherent, localized structure comprised of plasma and magnetic fields. Plasmoids can form in various environments, including the Earth's magnetic sphere, the solar atmosphere, and the laboratory setting. Ball lightning, sometimes believed to be plasmoids, could explain the phenomenon of ball lightning, a rare and mysterious atmospheric electrical phenomenon. Yeah, and I have heard about that before, the ball lightning phenomenon. And basically, with that, is it's a type of UFO UAP type structure. So interesting with the plasmoids and the solar winds and cometary tails. Plasmoids are observed in the solar winds and the tails of the comets where they are thought to play a role in a dynamic of these regions. Laboratory experiments. Plasmoids can be created in laboratory experiments such as field reverse configuration and spheromarks. Properties. Plasmoids possess a magnetic moment of measurable speed that can interact with other plasmoids. Reference to magnetic reconnection. Plasmoids are studied in the context of magnetic reconnection, a process where magnetic field lines break the reconnect, releasing the energy. Scientists at the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory are developing machine learning and algorithms to identify the plasmoid spacecraft data, which could help understand their role in magnetic reconnection. Race, the Dungeons and Dragons, the plasmoid, which is from a TV show, is a plausible race of amphibious blob-like beings. That's kind of what they are in real life. Plasmoids in the space. And kind of like some more information about this is that, so it has to do with UFOs. It's regarding UFOs, and plasmoids are self-contained structures of plasma and magnetic fields that occur naturally in space and can also be created in laboratory settings. They are often associated with the phenomena like ball lightning, magnetic bulbs in the magnosphere, and objects and cometary tails. Scientists are also exploring their potential in refusion energy, space propulsion, and material scientists. So it's plasma magnetic entities are coherent structures of the plasma and magnetic fields. They are not just blobs of plasma, but rather the organized structures with trapped magnetic field. This trapped magnetic field allows them to maintain their shape and structure even in the dynamic environment of space. They can exhibit various shapes, including the cylinders and toroids. Plasmoids can interact with each other seemingly by reflecting and curving towards each other. Plasmoids are found in various space environments, including Earth's magnetotail the solar wind, and the solar atmosphere commentary tails the hemispheric current sheet. They play a role in mass loss from the planets. They can be associated with magnetic reconnection, a process that can distribute the satellites and power grids. They are also linked to geomagnetic substorms and magnetic storms. So I'm glad that other YouTubers are like talking about this. That's how I learned about it. I mean, I would have known about this like before, and it was seen in space, and like when they're going to the moon. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll show y'all like what I'm talking about in a moment. I'm going to see about if this window works. Oh. This is I was when I was rewatching the Johnny Depp trial. That was funny. Okay, so let's go here. All right, this is the unidentified flying objects that were captured. Those are the plasmoids. Extraterrestrial life in the troposphere. Yeah, so these type of objects are these alleged these kind of we don't know what they are. Some sort of extraterrestrial type beings that are being seen. So as I said, other YouTuber that was talking about this, it was good to learn that from him. But we have the extraterrestrial life on the thermosphere right there. Yeah. So, and this is something else. That was allegedly something that was seen on the moon. Well, that was an alien spider that was allegedly seen on the moon. So the Apollo 11, the Apollo 18, that's what the thing was from. And then we have right here we're going to look at. That was talked about during that movie, and I believe it's based off true events, of course. Because when they were on the moon, so that was like that's from that like the Apollo 18 movie, but basically, I do believe that there were some sounds and stuff coming from the moon that wasn't able to be explained for real. So I do believe that it was based off of something that may have occurred. But the plasmoids, that is something that is seen, in space and stuff. They don't know exactly what they are. These are the plasmoids in space. And let's see, are they UFOs? Explain the theory about that. I'm closing some windows. Oh, we got some stuff opened. Oh yeah, I got a lot of stuff open. All right. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see. Okay, so plasmoids. I'll go kind of like put this in the other browser where it has the other feature where I could get the opinion of it from. Okay, let's see. Okay, plasmoids and UAPs. So seeing the connection between plasmoids and UAPs. There's a growing discussion connecting plasmoid phenomena in the Earth's atmosphere to unidentified anomalous phenomena formerly known as UFOs. The observations, including some of NASA's space shuttle films, reportedly show the self-illuminating, pulsating plasma-like objects are plasmoids, kind of like the theory that the UFO organisms exist in the sky, demonstrating behaviors that challenge conventional understanding of the atmospheric phenomena. These alleged behaviors include the diverse shapes, sizes, and these objects are reported to have various morphologies such as the cone, cloud, and donut, spherical, cylindrical, and even resemble the jellyfish-like forms. Attraction to electromagnetic activity. They seem to attract the electromagnetic fields and have been observed congregating near the satellites and generating such activity. Unusual maneuvers. Reports describe them traveling at different velocities, making them sudden 90 to 180-degree turns and exhibiting complex interactions like colliding and piercing and other plasma formations. Interactions with the aircraft. It is hypothesized that their presence and erratic movements in the atmosphere may account for reports of UAPs following, harassing, and even posing collision risks to aircraft. Potential to affect electronics and human cognition. Plasmoids are said to possess explosive properties and negatively affect electronics, and are claims that they might impact mental activity and possibly induce hallucinations, according to research paper. Scared. 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 Ski-aired faux show. Yeah, and I did not know about all this about them. It is quite intriguing. And are plasmoids a form of life? Some researchers speculate that plasmoids could be a distinct form of non biological life, a fourth domain of life that relies on plasma and electromagnetic interactions rather than DNA. Evidence cited include that their observed abilities to replicate exhibit complex behavior such as the hunter-predatory interactions and seemingly purposeful interactions. The argument is further bolstered by laboratory experiments with dusty plasmas, where researchers have observed that the formation of crystalline RNA and DNA helical structures, suggesting that potential for non biological life or pre life within the plasma. Counterpoints and considerations. It's important to remember that while the links between the plasmoids, space UFO sightings, and intriguing, these remain areas of ongoing scientific investigation and debate. Not all UAP sightings are attributed to plasmoids. In some reports, in natural technology of origins in plasma and Earth's atmosphere, and their possible connection to UAP events. This is some more in-depth information about the plasmoids. Connecting the plasmoids to UFO UAPs. Potential explanation for sightings. When observed the lower atmosphere, plasmoids are thought to account for many UFO UAP sightings, including those reported over centuries and more recently, such as the pulsating plasma-like objects near the thunderstorms and aircraft. Foo Fighters plasma may have been photographed by World War II pilots called Foo Fighters. So it was only back then, during World War II, it was captured on a picture. Extraordinary maneuvers. Plasmoids can exhibit maneuvers like sudden change in the speed and direction, 90 degrees and 180-degree turns, accelerating, slowing down, stopping, and following each other, and these movements are consistent with characteristics often attributed to UAPs. The impact of electrics and behavior plasma have been reported to negatively affect electronics and mental activity, potentially even including hallucinations. They also seemingly pass through various materials like a glass, plastic, and metal, according up to the ResearchGate. Hypothesis for aircraft disasters. The propensity of plasmoids to collide has led to the hypothesis that they may have been responsible for some unexplained aircraft disasters. Okay, they have senses and fourth domain of life. Some scientists have proposed the intriguing hypothesis that plasmoids could be sentient representation of a fourth domain of life, not based on DNA, due to their self-replication, complex behavior, and apparent purposeful interactions. The speculation is further supported by observations of coordinated movements and possibilities of interactions with sound waves. Hey Greg, I am doing great, and I was talking about Epstein again, and also some more updates about the Epstein thing and the plasmoids, which is I believe a type of UFO being that it's like an octopus, and the octopus, it's like an octopus type looking thing that's like in space, and I think it has to do with UFOs. Yeah, we're all doing good, and I'm doing fine myself. Thanks for asking, Greg. I hope that you're doing good too. Not all UAPs are plasmoids. It's crucial to understand that while plasmoids may explain many UAP sightings, they are unlikely to account for all of them, and some UAPs might indeed be extraterrestrial spacecraft or other unknown phenomena. So, evidence and limitations of these things. So, NASA filming and analysts. The extents of these plasmoids are entities supported by the official NASA Space Shuttle films and detailed analysis of those films. However, the footage is reportedly heavily obscured with layers of noise. Observational data, thunderstorms, which release positive charges into the upper atmosphere, are believed to attract plasma. Observational data, including footage from NASA's mission STS-75, STS-80, STS-96, and STS-106, shows hundreds of even thousands of plasmoids congregating above the descending into the thunderstorms. Complex behaviors. The observed behaviors include collisions and purposeful interactions, challenge simple electromagnetic explanations. The ethical considerations for the research. One proposal for further research involves launching the threaded satellite equipped with various sensors and potentially even an electrified net to study a possibly captured these plasmoids, raising ethical concerns about such an endeavor. In conclusion, the plasmoids are as self-organized plasma structures represent the fascinating scientific area with potential links to proportion of UAP sightings. Well, they can't explain all the anomalous phenomena. They offer a compelling natural explanation for some observations, including complex behaviors attributed to the unidentified flying objects. Research and obscured data are needed to fulfill fully understand the nature of plasmoids in relationship to the UAPs. Because there's these. Oh, Greg, I'm so glad to hear. I like that Venom shirt you're wearing. That that is a very cool character. So basically, with this situation with the plasmoids, I discovered it today on YouTube, and I think that definitely, it's definitely something. Absolutely. Because we could like look at it right here through this other pictures right here. Oh, okay, Greg. I'm glad. I will check it out. Yeah. Yeah, you see, like these things, for instance, I believe that they are part of the UFO theory. It has something to do with them. Yeah, it's like a glowing jellyfish of some type. Scared, scared. And then you have this. You have these balls of light. It was certainly not a drone, and that is something that was seen in space in the Thremprosphere. Let's see. Okay, gonna go here. It's the extraterrestrial life. Okay. Interstellar space and upper atmosphere of Earth are pre-meted by plasma. Plasmas are believed to constitute for a fourth state of the matter and may represent a form of pre-life or inorganic non-biological life. As detailed in the report, pulsating and glowing plasma up to the kilometer in size and behaving similarly to the simple multicellular organisms have been filmed over 20 miles above Earth within the thermosphere by 10 separate space shuttle missions. These plasmas descend into the lower atmosphere of Earth when observed may have been classified as unidentified aerial phenomenon. As documented in his report that these plasma-like entities have been photographed congregating in the thermosphere above and dividing massive thunderstorms below. The gathering around satellites and generating the electromagnetic pulses into the space medium, approaching and appearing outside of the windows of NASA space shuttles. So these were appearing outside of NASA space shuttles, these octopus-looking things. That'd be quite an interesting sight. They look like an abyssal fish. Or one time when I did my streams in the beginning, although I've talked about abyssal fish after that, I've talked about them recently. We've talked about the abyssal fish. There's these transparent bioluminescent fish, and we have these are like transparent bioluminescent plasma things. So cool. And then changing velocity and direction and making sudden 45-degree to 90-degree turns, following and even colliding to the intersecting of one another. Well, oh, Greg, so yeah, I know, right? And a lot of people are lurking right now. Some people might come in later. Some people might be had something else come up, but everybody's doing okay. Yeah, a shout out to them. I hope wherever they are, they're doing all right because we have quite a bit of lurkers here. These glowing, pulsating plasmas in the thermosphere grow in size, replicate, are attracted to, and make contact with the intersect one another, often releasing the kilometers in length and plasma dust trails in their wake. Yet others engage in what appears to be the hunter predatory behavior, tracking, then accelerating and piercing other plasmas that may be several dozen kilometers. Yeah, I do, Greg. Yeah, I do. And it's Sunday. There must be something else going on, or they could be lurking. But yeah, usually I do. Yeah, shout out to them. In kilometers in the distant, and even striking and intersecting up to 10 or more varying distances from one another. They display all the characteristics of life like plasmas and defined by Alvine the Pterodornei. All right. And Greg said it's good to see you on ABL yesterday. Oh yeah, Greg, I was very glad to be on the show. It's been a while, and I really had a very warm welcome from him and all of you. And it's been too long, and I enjoyed it, and I'm thankful for y'all, the chat and ABL, for having me. I said it was a very warm welcome, and you were very happy. I know you're like, finally he's back. Yeah, because I told y'all I would come and call in again, give y'all a nice little surprise. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Greg. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I remember I was being told over time I was very missed over there, and I do have to, you know, tell everybody that I'm still alive and doing my thing. Yeah. If, yeah, I should clip that. Absolutely, Greg. Yes, I should clip that and have it saved. It was certainly, as I said, that was a very, and you see, that's where I mean where there's no light without dark. Where that was, I think, one of the greatest calls I've done of all time about the return of Alien Spaceship, the second coming of Alien Spaceship, where everybody was, chilling, and then I come in and everybody's like really glad to have me there, and talking about the topics with him like I did before, and kind of summing up like what I've been up to. And Greg, I appreciate you, being supportive of me there and here. It's been very cool to have met you there and have you on the channel, and your channel's pretty cool too. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. As I've been on the show since 2020. Yes, it was a historical moment. I've been on. It's like my first call on the show back in 21. Now my first call was either in 2020 or 21 because I was watching him and I never thought I'd be a caller on his show, but then I became one of the most notorious callers on his show. And I remember I've been on his show since 2020, and I certainly have been missed there, and I'm thankful to God for the impact that I have made and the people that enjoy the content. Yeah, I'm glad that he's covering, what's going on, the things that have been going on in the news and things in the culture, and I like his take on things. Yeah, he was very glad to have me on, and the chat was too. And yeah, because everywhere I've gone on YouTube, everybody has been the same reaction. So I'm glad that I treat others well, and I've been a people believe I'm a good person, which I am a good person. I do the best that I can for other people, and it's really paid off because you get what you deserve, and I'm glad that I got that because people really like my commentary on things all over YouTube. It seems like there is enough of me to go around. It just takes a little while for me to get around. I'm kind of like a planet that orbits around. It just I come every so often. Yeah. Definitely. Although the plasma and the therosphere engaged in behavior in all respects, the plasma are not biological entities, and their actions are mediated by the electromagnetic and other non biological factors, including the incorporation of radiated dust plasma. It may have a higher or lower density. High or low temperatures may be stable and unsustainable and consistent in positive and negative charged particles. Yes, we got to spread the love, peace, and truth. Definitely. Yes. And like when I go to different places on YouTube, the things that I've learned from him, I apply here and other places. And I said he taught me a lot. I told him on his show, it's like, I learned a lot from him, and I had no problem with him or anyone else. I learned a lot from him, and I applied it to the other things. Like in chat rooms on YouTube, I'll talk about the point that he made to debunk or explain things. So yeah, very positive impact on me. The past 5 years have been great. So it'll be 5 years this November. I would have been on the show because I found him in 2020. Yeah, as I said, it's so crazy that I was on his show and it brought me to doing live streams because people from his show want me to go live, and other people on YouTube want it like my channel too. So they're all like interconnected with each other. Like the newer groups that have come in and the other groups because of that show, because he was the one that taught me about streaming. Because people that I knew from there want me to go live. So yeah, it all like the dots all connected in my future. So yeah, it was just I love that was I'd say my favorite call on the show. As I said, there's no light without dark because me being gone for a while caused people to miss me, just by is how it works, and I wasn't able to be over there because of what was going on here. But I had a time where I was like, we got to go back, and I'm still alive, everything's okay, and that's why I believe a collaboration with other YouTubers is so important. Where not rather than competing against each other, we could collaborate and we both could do well. So yeah, I really shout out to ABL. He a great channel, and I really appreciated being on the show again. It was very nice. And the particles and atoms of gas whose basic interactions are electromagnetic. In the upper atmosphere, plasmas are believed to react and possibly form in response to intermediate turbulence, geomagnetic storms, coronal mass ejections, and solar flares, and eclipses, and waxing and waning of sunlight, and atmospheric waves and radiation from transmitters and heating facilities, and incorporating of dust, or incorporations of dust. Hello, Moki. It's great to see you. Welcome to the stream, and I hope that you're having a wonderful Sunday. And we were talking about a couple of different things in the stream, and Greg says ABL really is going to go down as one of those legendary people. Oh yeah, I do agree. And and he made an impact certainly on many people all over. It was nice being on the show yesterday. Yeah, as I said, it was I learned a lot from him. Yeah. And Moki says, yeah, hello. And yeah, so Moki, there's a new UFO thing that I learned about that I'm talking about. And I kind of said an update about the Epstein thing, that they might release some information about it. And they're going to be releasing some additional information with not about the Epstein files that we're looking for, but they might release some stuff about it. And Elon is saying that he does have the information. I mean, Greg has been interrupting Alien Spaceship. Yeah, shout out to you, Greg. I wouldn't want anyone else but you to do it. And you've been saying some very cool things. Very cool things. Yeah, so we've been we have been talking about the plasmoids, which is this new type of UFO thing that I learned about today. They look like jellyfish in space. That's what they look like. And when they were like taking pictures in space, and also during the World War II crafts, they have been talking about them, in general, and that is what they are. It's like, I think that they're a type of UFO or some sort of organism that has to do with them that's been floating out in space and also in our atmosphere. So those are some depictions of it. I'm just learning about this today, from another YouTuber. Yeah, and that's what, it's this type of plasma type organism. They don't really know. It could be some sort of biological being of some sort. And, of what he's saying is that they do look like fireworks. They do look like fireworks. Yeah, definitely. I could see that. Yeah, because there's been these like different videos and stuff I've been seeing on the YouTubes about them, and certainly it looks like a giant blubber of a firework that went off. Yeah, yeah. So those are the terrestrial beings. So they're not known to be UFOs, but I think they are UFOs or connected with them. Okay. And as documented by NASA's Space Shuttle films and detailed this report of self-illuminating pulsating plasma, it's like a UFO, and it has multiple shapes and sizes and are attracted to electrical magnetic activity and travel at different velocities from different directions, making 90 to 180 degree turns as well. Another thing about this thing is that it moves so fast and so quickly to 90 to 80 to 180 degree turns. Things that we can't really do with our type of planes technology we have now. So it freaks out people like what these are exactly. And let's see right here. I don't know. Let's see. All right, so take myself out the way because I'm blocking it. Yeah, this is kind of like from a distance a plasmoid that was moving around in the sky. No, it is not manned. And I think they could have something to do with the angels, the fallen angels, or the watchers, or something like that, or good angels, bad angels. So basically, the picture says, Day 15 posting plasma. Call them demons, angels, UFOs, fairies, balloons, or flying saucers. It doesn't matter. They're real. Yeah, so as I said, people, like, we've been talking about the UFO theory that they were the watchers, the angels. And like the stories of fairies and those supernatural beings that they talked about in mythology, this is what those things are. Like, for real, like these mythological creatures and things. So they could be demons, they could be fallen angels, they could be good angels. There's all kinds of different theories about them. But yeah, so that is what it is. And some more an in-depth explanation of it is right over here. Going to switch over to the other window to get the big broader explanation of it. So here we go, right here. For everybody to see. In this mode, go in this again, and the plasmoids and UFO UAP. So this is like the whole history about what this thing is. And it's, as I said, it looks like a type of jellyfish thing, or a squid. And like when they were in space, they took pictures of them as they would see them kind of around the spaceships. Like going to the moon and stuff. Well, I started a new trend, Greg. I was thinking of you the other day. I got you saying basically and also and actually. I got my alien antennas doing mind control on you, Greg, to say that. I got people scared. Oh, Greg, I got Sharon to say scared when her dogs are scared of thunder. Scared. Yeah, so scared. Yeah, so I'm starting another trend. So I'm saying basically and also, yeah. I'm starting another trend. There we go. Hilarious. I'm such a character, am I? All right. So my alien ways are, the alien plague is infecting everybody with also and basically and scared and Timu. All over social media, people are saying Timu because of me. All right. Yeah, basically. Yeah, plasmoids, space, and UFOs, UAPs, and unpacking the connection. The term plasmoid was coined in 1956 to describe the self-contained UFO glowing structures of plasma, ionized gas, and these structures are relevant to both space phenomena and discussions and surrounding unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and now often referred to as identified anomalous phenomena. Yes, the alien virus, the alien plague. So basically, plasmoids in space, ambiguous in the Moki says that Trial Chat is saying Timu all the time. Yeah, so also, I remember like Miranda was saying that Timu's a new Sheen. Sheen is a new Timu, so I'm starting Sheen. Sheen's a new thing I've been saying because she was the one who suggested Sheen, and we're gonna spread the Sheen plague too. Oh yeah, and also basically when people are in the trial chat, they'll get Timu ads on the stream. I've manipulated the Google algorithm to display Timu ads. Scared. Skirt. Alright, so the meaning of Timu. I will now tell the origins of Timu. That's my anime voice. What happened was during the YSL trial, when young Thug was on trial and his brilliant attorney Brian Steele was defending him along with Shardit. There's Mr. Adams, really brilliant intellectuals that were defending them. We were in the chat and we were roasting the enemies of YSL. Or when anybody, even if YSL themselves, anybody like we're going to do something goofy, we like make a joke about it. But mostly we're focused on we perceive as enemies of YSL. The majority of chat. What happened was we would all come up with roasts. Biff voice. Or that too, Duke. Or that too. So basically what happened was Temu is this Chinese store online where you could buy very, very cheap things. And Moki put it in layman's terms because I have my, alien way of explaining things. It was kind of a long story how it all started, but that is basically a cheap Chinese clothing and more site. So basically calling someone a cheap version of something. Right. Now, with Temu, the way it started was my grandpa would always buy from Temu, and I'm thinking a good roast would be like a Temu Love. Miss Love is Temu. Temu Woody. You have the Temu State. Temu Judge Glanville. And the chat would be going all over the place, very fast. And I would just say Temu this, Temu that, and everyone else started saying Temu, and everyone else started saying Temu. And when I was around, people started saying Temu because it was based off you could buy stuff very cheaply. It's a Chinese store, like online store. They could buy stuff very cheaply. And I also knew about Temu because you could buy stuff from Temu and Alibaba. I've not actually done this because I was focused on the trial chats and YouTube, but you could buy like I don't know, a phone or some TV or some appliance or a microphone for $5, and then you could sell it for $50, and you could just buy a bunch of inventory and just be like, haha, look at me, I'm making money online. But that's like an example of like what to use it for. I knew about this stuff since like 2019, basically. Yeah, there you go. A Timu alien. Yes. A Timu alien talking about Timu. Oh, actually, Duke, I got a better one. I'm the CEO of Timu. I'm known as a notorious CEO of Timu. But now Sheen and Timu, I have merged Sheen with Timu, so now it's Timu Sheen. I hyphenated it. And I got the Timu hat on, and Timu scared. And that is how it started. And I'm all over YouTube, and YouTube chat rooms everywhere. And I spread it everywhere all the time. And everyone else started doing it. One day, everyone in like the chat was saying Timu. And then they started getting ads about Timu. So I manipulated the Google algorithm. And I spread it everywhere. I remember one time I was like, the Timu iceberg, there's Timu Titanic versus Timu iceberg. And yeah, so that was the roast that we were coming up with. And then we got AliExpress, and then one of my friends will go, hey, we got Moki's ordered from Shein. Scared. I mean, I have to say that I'm like one of the greatest marketers of all time for Timu, like unintentionally, because I spread Timu all over the world. That's basically like I spread everything all over the world. And shout out to Joe. I spread the alien theory. So I did the alien spaceship stuff first. Like I spread the alien spaceship thing everywhere, and the ideas about it. Man, that was really cool the way I did that. But remember, it was like yes, it was a way of roasting. And sometimes we encounter trolls and people that think they're like intelligent and that try to roast us. So I've dealt with a lot of trolls, especially in the trial chat and different places. I've dealt with trolls, and there's a lot of cool people there, but we've encountered some trolls there. I've encountered some trolls. Pretty much every stream I've been on, I've encountered trolls. So there was a time when they took away all the mods, and then you had this problem where they're just hordes of trolls, so we had to fight them back as a group. Our group, we had to fight them. Our like friend group. And I was like, Timu baby pictures. He has a Timu Wang. He has like the troll it is in Timu basement. He has Timu chicken nuggets. He has a Timu blow up doll. And you would just say Timu, 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 Timu all day long. And I learned about different things about talk shows and stuff. And having like a funny pitch in something is good to have. And you have unlimited ammunition with Timu, the prefix Timu. You have unlimited. You're unlimited. You could say anything. You could say as much as you want all day long. You have unlimited ammunition. You won't ever run out of anything. It'll be funny. It was like the perfect solution. It's like the biggest innovation, in my opinion, in comedy was the Timu comeback. Like, I got this Timu can right here, this Timu thing right here. I got this a Timu piece of plastic. We got this Timu battery that ran out. And then right here we got a Timu pocket watch. We have Timu pocket watch. I got some of my friends saying good people. Yeah, just information is just spreading everywhere. Information just spreads everywhere. Now, Timu dog, Timu cat, Timu chickens, Timu trees, Timu dirt, Timu mouse, Timu bus mouse, Timu Crocs, Timu Sheen. And then you got like a Sheen break dance. He got a Sheen table that breaks. He got a Sheen lamp. You got a Sheen car that broke down. Yeah, Sheen everything, team everything. All right, so plasmoids in space. Ubiquitous and magnetale. Plasmoids are frequently found in Earth's magnetotale. As I pronounce that wrong, of course, probably, and occasionally observed near the Earth spacecraft like IMP-8. Affected magnosphere, their large vertical extent means they can influence the size and shape of the entire magnosphere as they move down the tail. Role in geomagnetic substorms due to their size and velocity. Scared. And energy content. Plasmoids are considered to play a crucial role in magnosphere during the geomagnetic substorms. And NASA pulsating self-illuminated plasmas up the kilometer in size and exhibiting the behaviors of similar and the simple multicellular organisms have been filmed by NASA in some shuttle missions in the thermosphere over 200 miles above Earth. Attraction of the electromagnetic activity. These plasmas are attracted in the electromagnetic radiation. The interaction with the satellites and space shuttles. They have been observed in the congregating by the hundreds, interacting with satellites and approaching the space shuttles. Skirt. Downward trajectories. Some have been filmed flying towards the descending into the thunderstorm. Connecting plasmoids to UFOs and UAPs. Scared. Scared. I've like rewatched these streams and I laugh every time I say scared. I mean, it sounds very different to when I'm saying it to when I hear it. It's like sounds like two different things, but it's fun either way. It's like I'm like it's kind of sometimes you know like with actors and stuff when they're watching themselves in the movie, they're just kind of like trying to. It feels a little bit. It kind of feels a little awkward, but you know I watch I agree watch some things that I do, but like especially like the calls in the show, Greg. It's like in the beginning, it's like I like what I'm saying, but it's sometimes a little awkward to you know hear yourself, but it's still cool to hear myself. I like hearing myself. It's cool, or see myself in a replay of a stream. But yeah, because even like Johnny Depp, like he'll like kind of close his eyes when he's on the screen and he wonders when it's over with. And Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, he had a lot of problems like with Harry Potter in the beginning and watching himself, but he's accepted as he got older. Yeah, that is something we need to add some reverb to. Scared, 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 scared. Yeah, definitely some reverb. I gotta drop the scared reverb definitely. Scared, scared, scared. And that's my Timu reverb. And the Foo Fighters. Plasma may have been photographed by World War II pilots called the Foo Fighters. In the extraordinary maneuvers, the plasmoids can exhibit maneuvers like the sudden changes in speed and direction, 90 to 180 degree turns, accelerating shows down, slowing down, stopping and following each other. These movements are consistent with characteristics often attributed to UAPs. Impact on electronics and behavior. Plasmas have been reported to negatively affect the electronics and the mental activity and potentially even inducing hallucinations. They can also seemingly pass through various materials like glass, plastics, and metal, according to research. Hypothesis of aircraft disasters. The propensity of plasmoids to collide has led to the hypothesis that they may be responsible for some unexplained aircraft disasters. Sentience and fourth domain of life. Some scientists have proposed the intriguing hypothesis and plasmoids could be sentient. Astrone 4 orbs known as plasma orbs. And they all shut the front doors. And they float around in the airplane corridors. Ashton 4 orbs known as plasma orbs. Ashton shut the front doors. It is Timu orbs on the Sheen shores. Whoa, I ended the plasma's whole career. This speculation is further supported by the observations of coordinated movements and possibility of interactions with sound waves. Not all UAPs are plasmoids. Oh yeah, and Moki, there is this incident that occurred where somebody caught footage of a glowing light orb that was hovering over a field. And that was one of the allegedly a crop circle formation caught on tape. It was like something like this. So these might be the things creating those crop circles. Yeah. And that's why with the great thing with social media, we could see these things now. They've been talking about this for hundreds of years. Now we can see it all in person. You know, like, it's not the boy that cried wolf. It's a boy that cried truth. And not all UAPs and plasmoids is crucial to understand, while plasmoids may explain. Oh, I had to read about DNA. Okay, speculation further that's supported by observations of coordinated movements and possibility of interactions with sound waves. Yeah, so there are more. There have been even videos of some of those orbs going into fields. Like you see this glowing orb in a field. People were trying to say it was an electrical short of a line or something, but it was an orb. It was a complete circle, and then you have this thing just like glowing inside a field. So that was the UAPs, UFOs creating those things. And yes, I believe it, Moki. Absolutely that they're appearing. And it's not from a prank, it's not from Timu, it's not from Sheen, it's from something from space. You know, one of the stores out in space. Not all UAPs are plasmoids. It's crucial to understand that while plasmoids may explain many UAP sightings, they are unlikely to account for all of them. Some UAPs might indeed to be extraterrestrial spacecraft or others unknown phenomena. Evidence and limitations. NASA filming and analysts. The existence of these plasma-like entities is supported by official NASA space shuttle films and detailed analysis of those films. However, the footage is reportedly heavily obscured with layers of noise. Observational data. Thunderstorms which release positive charges into the upper atmosphere and are believed to attract plasmas. Observational data, including footage from NASA, missions of STS-75, STS-80, STS-96, and STS-106, shows hundreds or even thousands of plasmoids congregating above the descending into the thunderstorms. Complex behavior. Observed behaviors include collisions and purposeful interactions, challenge simple electromagnetic explanations. Ethical considerations of research. One proposal for further research involves launching a tethered satellite equipped with the various sensors and potentially even an electrified net to study possibly captured these plasmoids, raising ethical concerns about such an endeavor. In conclusion, plasmoids as self-organization plasma structures represent a fascinating scientific area with potential links to a proportion of a UAP sightings. While they cannot explain all anomalous phenomena, they offer a compelling natural explanation for some observations, including complex behaviors attributed to unidentified objects. Further research and less obscure data are needed to fully understand the nature of plasmoids and their relationships to UAPs. Yep. So that is the plasmoids. Another YouTuber was talking about this, and I never heard of it. I'm glad that he mentioned it. Shout out to him for that. But basically, I think that they have to be some some type of UFO being. It's like an organism. Now people think also, like, for instance, see, it's like the angels. Like, say from the Bible, it talks about these angels looking like the wheels within wheels, and that's what these things looking like. Like what the Bible describes the angels look like. They're there. And here's another one of a plasmoid UFO. And all right, let's see. There's Look at this one, and do I have to move myself over again? Oh, I have to completely switch the window that I'm in. Actually, that's what I gotta do. Start just from the top. Look at this. So you have right here. It looks like the wheels within wheels, the way the angels were described looking like, and yeah. So that it looks like a star. Like I said, that the stars were them. So yeah, that is one of the UA. This is the one of the plasmoids. It looks a lot like the UAP. See, like how Sirius blinks and twinkles like that, just like Sirius. It looks just like a star, and how this UFO. It's like a UFO organism. And it's not a drone. Yeah, and it's like their person saying how close it is to the house, and yeah, because that's what they're described looking like. They're fallen stars, the stars of heaven. So that is like how the angels were described. Whatever they are, like that is creating the crop circles. All right, that's what, in my opinion, it's those things. If they're not the orbs and the UFOs, it's a third type of UFO being. That's like an organism, like the UFO animal theory, basically. All right, okay. And basically, like this, like how the angels. So this is what I was talking before, but y'all couldn't see it. So like that's like what the angels describe, that eye thing, and that giant circle with the dot in it. That is likely describing that angelic thing, the angelic being. That looks like a UFO that crashed into the ground. And also the space snail. All right, so on Pluto, one time when I was running an ad for one of the videos, I one of the users was telling me that the aliens are good and they're not demonic, but some of them are demonic, some of them aren't. And we're talking about the snails on Pluto. So on Pluto, allegedly, there is this snail type thing. You see the tracks of it, and it's just kind of moving its head around, or it's just a still picture of an object there. So NASA's saying it's a rock that moved by itself over the centuries, but what we think it is, it's some sort of a snail type organism on that planet. So right there, basically, that's like a depiction of what it can look like, possibly. And that's pretty cool. That's a space snail with that. Imagine that the space snail has like a it has like a astronaut's thing on. Like it looks like this, like an astronaut outfit. The space snail Pluto. All right, the space snails on Pluto are not actual snails, but rather geological formations on Sputnik and Planium, a large ice sheet. But we believe they're actual space snails, in my opinion. These formations appear snail-like due to the way the dirty water icebergs float on the subsurface of the frozen nitrogen. The extreme cold, negative 400 Fahrenheit, and the size of the features of each of the pixel in the image, about 80 meters, make it impossible for them to be living creatures. New Horizons mission. NASA's New Horizons mission provided the first close-up images of Pluto, revealing unusual features of its surface. The snail features are located on the Sputnik Planium, a vast ice sheet on Pluto. The planetary scientists attributed to the formation to geological processes, not living organisms. The dirty icebergs, it's believed that the snail shapes are actually dirty water icebergs floating on the sea of frozen nitrogen. Frozen nitrogen is Pluto's interior pressure causes a subsurface ocean of frozen nitrogen to behave like a thick fluid, consistently churning and deforming the surface. Water ice is less dense than nitrogen ice, causes the water ice to float on nitrogen ice. Trials. The trials left behind are likely the edges of the convicted zones. Trails, not trials. I got dyslexic for a second. The trial The trails behind are likely edges of convicted. I'm so into this trial stuff that it's taking over my mind. The convention zones where warmer material rises and cooler material sinks, creating a flowing effect. Yeah, so NASA, I believe, in my opinion, they could be censoring it or not. Let's see what people think. Are they censoring it or not? Let's see. Somewhere on Earth there lies an immortal that rests easy, knowing that the super intelligent snails will never reach him. A decoy snail. Okay. Hey, how about that? Get that photo. You're not supposed to have that. This image of Kate has been manipulated to give it right now. Because they're among us. It was a racing snail. I don't know. Yeah, it seems like they could be concealing the information. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. We don't know. All right, so yeah, that's when one of the subscribers told me that about that one time. Scared. Okay, so now we explained the space snail and Pluto, and I talked about what the plasmoids are. Let's see. Let's see if there's any news on this thing right here. Let's go. Let's see. Does it go down? Oh, okay. Internet and the okay. CNN's chief data analyst breaks down the American interest in the Epstein file. My goodness gracious, Eaton, the top topic searched alongside Trump on Google. So it looks like Trump and Epstein are yeah, basically the thing that is most searched on Google right now. All right. The all right, so I'll go into the Epstein thing. So another update about it. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino has told people that he is considering resigning amid a major clash between the FBI and the Justice Department over the continued fallout from the release of the Jeffrey Epstein memo. Sources familiar with the matter told CNN. This comes after a heated confrontation with Anthony General Pam Bondi over the handling of the case earlier this week. In frightening over the case came to a head during a Wednesday meeting, which concluded the Bongino Bondi FBI Director Kash Patel and the White House Chief of Staff Susie Willis. The source said the Bongino and Patel were confronted about whether they were behind a store that said the FBI wanted more information released, was ultimately stymied by the Department of Justice, they say. Bongino Bongino denied leaking that notion to News Nation, which published the story. A source familiar with the matter that told CNN, though he did not sign on the statement defending the review, including the article. CNN has reached out to Bongino and the FBI comment. The sources cautioned the Bongino had not made up his mind and was possible he would stay in his position. Axios first reported that some details of Bongino's confrontation at the White House. The episode comes as many of President Donald Trump's close advisors, both inside and outside of the House, have grown increasingly frustrated with Bondi's handling of the so-called Epstein files following the days of intense criticism from the same president. Most devoted supporters, multi-sources, and Bongino did not come to work Friday, fueling the speculation that he quit over the issue. One of those sources said that as of Friday afternoon, he had not left his position. The whole thing has been complete mess, and no one is happy, a source briefed on the matter told CNN. Epstein is disgraced financier and convicted sex offender whose criminal case has long captured significant public attention, in part because of his ties to wealthy and high-profile people. In August 2019, while he was awaiting trial in a federal criminal case, Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell at New York's Metropolitan Correctional Center. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced deleted. His deletion was ruled a suicide. The death, though, was heavily scrutinized, and during his 2024 campaign, Trump said that he would consider releasing additional government files on the case. Many of the president's supporters hoped that the release would impact the high profile figures or undercut the notion that Epstein deleted himself or committed suicide. But the Justice Department announced a memo Monday that there was no evidence that he kept a client list or was murdered, fueling rage and suspicion among many MAGA world. FBI and the Justice Office officials have been told for months about the handling of the Epstein files review, but the tension spilled out to publicly on Friday when the far-right provocateur Laura Loomer, who is close with the people, the administration, wrote on social media that Bongino and Patel were livid with Bondi over Epstein's case. She wrote Bongino was taking the day off today from his job, deputy director of the FBI, and there's now speculation on whether or not he will return to his job. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche denied a rift between the Justice Department and the FBI leadership in a post on X Friday, saying that the suggestion by anyone that there was any daylight between the FBI and DOJ leadership on this memo's composition and release is patently false. White House Deputy Press Secretary Harrison Fields said Trump has assembled a highly qualified and experienced law and order team dedicated to protecting Americans, holding criminals accountable, and delivering justice to the victims. This work is being carried out seamlessly without the unity, Fields, he says, and attempts to sow division within this team is baseless and distract from the real progress being made in restoring the public safety and pursuing justice for all. Bondi orchestrated an event at the White House in February with pro-Trump social media influencers to present binders and Epstein-related documents, though that she later faced criticism when MAGA influencers realized most of the documents had been public for years. Patel had minimal involvement in the event, and more recently, Bongino repeated promises that the files would be released, even as he tried to downplay the contents. Let's see. Elise and Bongino's frustrations relates that the 10-hour surveillance video taken outside the Epstein's Manhattan jail cell the day he was deleted, a person familiar with the situation told CNN. Investigators spent weeks combing through the records related to the Epstein investigation. Bongino discovered the video. The person said that the deputy director was elated by the discovery, and he also said that it was definitive evidence that Epstein had not been murdered, they said. After the video was released, members of the public and press observed that the video jumped forward, cutting out 60 seconds. Bondi had publicly said the outdated recording system produced the video resets every day in the midnight, and the same minute is skipped every evening. Still, theories about what happened and the minute exploded online, and Bongino was blamed internationally for oversight. Not internationally, but internally. Patel and Bongino had privately expressed frustrations for months over the DOJ's handling of the case, and stemming in part from an earlier interview where Bondi implied that the FBI was still reviewing the case, while they had already been turned over to the Department of Justice. Source familiar with the matter said. On Sunday, Patel sought to downplay the conspiracy theory and said that he will continue to serve. Quote, the conspiracy theories aren't true, never have been. That's really false. A lot of conspiracy theories are true. It's an honor to serve the President of the United States, real Donald Trump, and I will continue to do so as long as he calls on me. All right, and that is the newest update with the Epstein situation. And so, look at this. Look at that. See a cat. Meow. Meow, 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 meow. Alrighty. Yeah. I think that, basically, as we said, we have to wait for more information to come out to see if it's, really true or not. We may never know. They could have destroyed the information. So it's a variety of different things in the media that people are confused about, because people want straightforward answers. There's a lot of distrust. Okay. Going to look over here. All right. Whoa. Okay, let's see. All right. Oh, something I want to look up. Let's see. From one of the TV shows I liked watching, there is this one time where, from the SpongeBob show I watched when I was a kid, but I still think it's a cool show. I was wondering, we were talking about him getting the suds at one time, and there's a lot of memes about it. And we were wondering why he got the suds. So the reason is, in a SpongeBob SquarePants episode, The Suds, the SpongeBob gets illness by leaving his refrigerator door open overnight, causing his house to become extremely cold. This prolongs exposure to the cold, resulting in him developing the suds, which is a sponge-specific sickness similar to the cold flu. Suds are characterized by excessive soap and bubbles within the sponge. Ah, okay. Because there is one where he's on a medieval table. See, these are very classic. Anybody of any age can enjoy these things. You see, he's in this torture chamber thing, like we were talking about before. Yeah, he's just enjoying himself there. And then this one is a meme about the suds. That's him with the suds. That's a meme. Yeah. That is quite funny. Okay. That was like a little fun fact for y'all. All right. Well, this Wolf 2424 is the binary star system comprising of two red dwarf stars. The stars are located distant 14.37 light years away, hence among the nearest stars, but due to their faint intrinsic brightness, they are not visible to naked eye. Wolf 424 is located in the constellation Virgo between the stars Virginis and O Virginis. Okay. That because you have these two dwarf stars next to each other, and a lot of red dwarfs are in the sky that we can't see at night. All right. And speaking of weather today, my weather was extremely rainy, but the early morning it was sunny, and now it's just kind of overcast. Yeah, so the weather's been quite crazy today. All right, let's go here. All right. So basically, we have covered all the topics that I want to talk about, and I want to thank you all for coming here. I enjoyed this stream and with the group we have, and we had a good time, and we got the different things covered and had some laughs. Hope all of you have a great week. We'll be most likely live tomorrow. All right, and thank you for coming, and peace. See if it works like this. All right, let's see if I get it right. If not, it's okay. Maybe with the hoodie on it would work, but that's okay. We'll do the balloons. I'll try one more time. All right, so probably we'll do with the hoodie on it. We'll probably recognize it better. Okay, so peace, everybody. Have a great week. And we'll be seeing if there's gonna be any trials tomorrow. I don't know if there's any trials tomorrow, but we'll see if there are any. That will depend if I do the live earlier or not. Okay, so here we go.